Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What I want to go through right now with you is how we are going to go about preparing for the common essay. If you recall, we do one of these each trimester, and for third trimester, the focus of the question is going to be on Supreme Court cases. So, to navigate ourselves to those resources, we are going to start off by going to the e-learning folder. Once in the e-learning folder, we're going to click on Essay Test. And then finally, we are actually going to click on right here where it says Common Essay Directions. Now what I've done for you here is I've put basically a bunch of resources available to you as well as links to each one of these different documents. So let's take a look at them. Let's first start off by looking at the Common Essay question. Now, as we take a look at this common essay question, the first thing that you will notice is that there's only one question. That's awesome for you because that means that you are guaranteed to get this question when we do in fact write it. So your question that everyone is going to get is, what are the 3 precedent-setting U.S. Supreme Court cases that have had the greatest impact on our society? Now, we've done these essays before, and even though the question is different, the format is the exact same. It is going to be a 5-paragraph essay. It is going to have 3 body paragraphs, an introductory paragraph, and a concluding paragraph. The rubric that we are going to use is going to be the exact same as what we've used all year. So that will also look the same. Now, each of your body paragraphs, we've always had each paragraph contains 3 main things. What you are going to include in each of those body paragraphs is first, you're going to give the background of a case. So you're going to select 3 precedent-setting Supreme Court cases, 3 body paragraphs. Each of those body paragraphs is going to focus on one of those cases. You're going to start off by giving us the background of the case. That includes the people involved, potentially the amendments, the laws, the details, the background of the case. That should sound familiar from the project we just wrapped up. Then when you're done with the background in that paragraph, you then are going to go into the specific details. So you're going to describe the impact that the case had at the time. Now I'm going to underline this, that it had at the time. And that's important. So you're going to talk about what the result of the case is and what the big deal was then. Okay? Again, using evidence to support the argument that you're making. And then finally, you're going to say why that case is still significant today. Why we still think it's one of the 3 most important Supreme Court cases. Now, every step of the way, you are going to be focusing on argument and evidence. So you're going to give me the argument of what the background is, and then the evidence to support that. The argument of what the case was then and the result of the case, and the impact that it had, and then evidence to support it. And then finally, argument that it's still significant today, and evidence to support it. Remember, evidence is things like dates, names, data, statistics, studies, very specific type things. Facts is another way that you could take a look at it. Here I have for you just some overall basic formula outlines and things to keep in mind just as you're going through this to have a clear thesis, so on and so forth. Now, the next thing, what are your case choices? Simply put, any case that we just did our project on. You can pick any 3 of those. If you would like to go outside of that list, just send me an email and talk to me. But really, the work is heavily been done for you already. So pick 3 of the cases. There was 20 plus that we just did. Pick 3 of them. Let's take a look at the rubric. This rubric should look familiar. It is what we have used so far this school year. So you're going to have an intro paragraph, right? This should look familiar. And then you're going to have 3 body paragraphs, 1 on each case. The background of the case, the result of the case and the impact then, the significance today, making arguments, supporting those arguments with evidence. Then continuing to the second case, the third case. When we look at the concluding paragraph, you're going to restate your thesis, and then you're going to identify and explain a modern case. So you're going to basically find a new Supreme Court case from the last 12 to 18 months. You're going to do a little bit more research now because the cases that we did our research on for the project, none of them are this recent. So you're going to have to do a little bit of digging, find a Supreme Court case that was ruled on that you think is a big deal. And then you're going to explain why it's a big deal and why it's going to be the next big case. And you're going to provide details to support that is what we are prepping for. Okay, then as we come back here, the essay template. And this is what you guys are going to be doing right now for us, is you are going to be in Notability, printing this off, however it is you wish to do this. You're going to be basically preparing your outline. Now, we're not going to have you write your essay yet. We want to first see kind of the way this e-learning goes. We would prefer and hoping that we'll be back in school and we can write it back in school. But we're going to prep for this essay and then hold off on the actual writing of it just for a little bit here until we get a little bit more guidance. But we want to get all the prep work done while it's fresh in your minds. So you're going to download this slide, you're going to print this, whatever it is, however it is you want to do this, and you're going to fill this out just like you did for the other two essays. This should look familiar. It is the exact same as what we have used before. So you're going to fill it in. You're going to put down what the context or your importance is, right? That's your attention getter, motivator, assertion, so on and so forth. Then your thesis statement, and then what your three cases are going to be with your background, explanation, and evidence. Now notice there's a max of 5 words for each box below, unless otherwise stated in any documented district paperwork. So 5 words, 5 words, 5, 5, 5, 5. You're going to then go down and repeat that. So you're really kind of doing this pre-writing, and you will get to use this when you write the essay. Now, we may write it at home if we are at home for the rest of the year, or if we find out we're coming back May 15th, we'll come back and we'll write it back when we're back together. But we want you to have this all done and ready to go, okay? When you have this all filled in, you're going to upload it. Now, if you have any questions on it, are you doing it right, etc., this is where you can reach out to your teacher. Down on the bottom, that application to today, that is your modern case from the last year to year and a half. Find a Supreme Court case. That's what you're going to be putting in there. Now, I also have a help PowerPoint for you here as well that you can kind of go through and look at what this looks at and what your conclusion should be overall. And then finally, a whole bunch of different resources loaded here for you as well. Okay, so not a ton of info because it's really similar to what we've done. We just want you to pick the 3 most significant ones and fill out your rubric, okay? If you have questions, reach out to your teachers. Thanks for listening.